Uh, Next up, we have Mr. Kagotho Kamau from Sawasawa Limited. Sawasawa.com has been in business for close to 14 years, right? Close to 14 years. 14 years ago today, Anthony got up and started this business, and he's been pushing the boundaries of what can be done in ICT. He's been out there working with groups like 3 Mice when they started out. He's now venturing into cloud. I would also like to mention that Anthony and his team over at Sawasawa are one of the largest supporters of the innovation events that we run over at the IEEE. And they've actually, in the past, gone ahead to actually incubate a couple of the companies that we've had come into exhibit at our innovation exhibitions. Anthony, we now want to hear what your 14 years of experience have to say about the subject today. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. You can hear me at the back? All right. My presentation is going to be like 2 minutes because I know you all have questions and we need to make time for that. I'm going to start by introducing myself. My name is Kagotho, and I'm a programmer by profession. And even if I'm one of the founders of Sawasawa.com about 14 years ago, I have been resisting the push into management. Unfortunately, I've been slowly being pushed into management, but I still code every day. I make sure I do that every day. So our core business is applications development, and we offer supporting services like virtualization, what we now call cloud, and that sort of thing. So I can start by asking, just by seeing a show of hands, how many of us are programmers, developers? Developers? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that's good. All right, I know what our topic for today is, but I'm going to just talk about a little bit of it. I'm not going to repeat what we've had from the previous speakers. And I'm going to tell you this because I want to get you thinking so that when you get to ask the questions, you know what you want to find out. Okay, I'll start by telling you the first obvious thing that you do not know. There is no right answer, right? There is no method, and there is no secret, right? Because every one of us is individual and unique. We will run our businesses differently, right? And we will all make, or we will all get an opportunity to make our own mistakes. Now, the important thing is we have got to try as much as possible to make brand new mistakes, right? And this is why we have speakers here, because they have seen the mistakes that people have made, and they are telling us about them, so that we do not get an opportunity to repeat them. But we must endeavor to make brand new mistakes. So with that having been said, I'm going to quickly go through a list of about 10 items. I will just mention them about my experiences in the software development business. Most of these are not even academic. You won't find them in books or anything of the sort. Here we go. Customers cannot be trusted. They will change their minds, right? They will say that what you have delivered is not what was in the plan. They will go ahead and use your product for what it was not intended for. All these things happen. But we also all agree that customers are good because they pay us, right? So, having said that, the first thing, the most important thing when you're getting into any project is you've got to define it. You've got to define boundaries. That I have found to be a truth that cannot be denied. The second thing, programmers cannot be trusted, right? The reason is all programmers think they are really good at what they do. They believe that they know everything there is to know about the, the particular technology they're using and that sort of thing. And this is why a programmer should never test. It's this guy's job to test your applications, because he doesn't care about your ego. He doesn't care that you've been programming for 10 years. He doesn't even care that you indented your code properly. He just wants to test your application and make sure the thing is working. The next thing that I've found is we make a lot of mistakes during interviews. Let's say somebody is applying for a job, as a developer, and you get to ask them all the relevant questions in quotes. Where they went to school, what grade they got, and that sort of thing. And then we go ahead and ignore all the really important stuff. One of which is attention to detail. That's the difference between, say, Apple and any other, say, successful company you can imagine, and, say, a company whose products no one wants to buy. It's attention to detail. And that's the difference between a good developer and a developer who's not good. So details are important in everything you do. The next thing I've found from my experience is standards. Now standards, we all, imagine they are good things, right? We all have to program in a standard way. We all have to do things in a standardized way. But it's a double-edged sword, right? The only way you can have all your developers in your organization be able to maintain an application whether they developed it or not is by using standards. However, if all your programmers in your organization are horrible programmers, then the standard works against you, because you can break into all their code, all the systems you've ever built, because they are standardized, right? So standards are important, but we've always got to remember that it's a double-edged sword. So how you manage, how you implement standards in your organizations, you must always keep that in mind. The next thing that we experience this in all our projects is what I call the sugar candy syndrome. I don't know whether any of you have ever heard of some place called Sugar Candy Mountain. Okay, it means you've forgotten what you read as small children. There is this mountain where all the trees are made of sweets and it's nice, birds are singing, butterflies, green grass, and that sort of thing. Now, this syndrome, to just explain what it is, it affects managers, especially project managers, with a little bit of pressure from customers, where you as a developer, you are required to produce a working, tested, functional application in the least amount of time. Now, you've got to be brave enough to ask for enough time to develop an application and make sure it's properly tested. There will always be pressure from management and the customer. But if you want your products to stand out and compete in the global marketplace, you must have enough time to do a good product. The other thing that we found out is customers do not know everything they want in an application. They don't know yet. And I'm sure some of you have experienced this. You're developing an application, in the middle, the customer changes the specifications and, Now, this is what is called discovery. So when you're developing an application, new ideas will come up, new functionality will be requested, so you have to find a way of dealing with that. And finally, we all cannot do all our work. So I know some of us think the first thing that comes to your mind is subcontract, right? Now remember, whenever you subcontract something, you increase the risk in your project, right? So remember that. I'm not saying subcontracting is bad, but whenever you do it, you increase the risk because you delegate some of your responsibility. Now, with those quick pointers, I know some of you who are developers especially will have some questions for me. I will not answer from, it's not going to be textbook answers. I will not tell you what you hear on TV because I know you know. All of us, we all are good at what we do, right? So I want frank questions so that I can give frank answers, and I believe that will make our session more useful. Thank you very much for paying attention. Thanks.